Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. It's your boy Devour. On today's episode, we're going over the top 5 best classes to use in Modern Warfare, specifically for like respawn game modes. You can use these in Search and Destroy as well. Some of these classes will work out really well in Warzone also, but mostly focused on the multiplayer aspect. So how we're going to do it is we're going to show a couple of clips with the weapon really quickly, and then we're going to go over the class setup, and then we'll move on to the next weapon, show a couple of clips, and then we'll go right into the class setup just to keep everything as quick and as informative as possible. If you guys happen to find anything entertaining or informative today, please do absolutely make sure to smash that like button for your boy. So first up, no surprise, we got the MP5, guys. I love this class setup. Literally since the end of season 6, I have not changed this MP5 class setup. It's just so good. I have over 100 nukes with this class setup and so many 20 bombs in Search and Destroy as well. It's so verified, it's so valid. I love it. I recommend it to all my friends. Without further ado, let's hop into the class setup right away, guys. So first up, we got the monolithic integral suppressor. This is going to keep us off the radar, which is super important to me always, and increasing the bullet velocity. That way these bullets actually hit faster than most people's bullets. The FTAC collapsible stock, this is to increase our movement speed to its maximum potential and increase the aim down sight speed. It's important because this is going to be our only aim down sight speed supporter. And then we have sleight of hand. This is actually just going to reload your MP5 super quick, because when you're being aggressive with an MP5, the only thing that's going to kill you is like the slow reload speed, to be honest. As long as your shot is on point, having sleight of hand with the increased mag, you don't have to worry about like dying during a reload. And then of course, I like to use the 45 round mag. I specifically like to use this 45 round mag in unison with the M19 pistol that has fully loaded on it. That way I start off with a fully loaded MP5, but I didn't have to use fully loaded on my MP5 to do it. And then lastly, we have the Ranger foregrip. This is gonna make your recoil absolutely 0, and it's gonna increase your aiming stability. That way, when you're aiming down the sight, it's not gonna sway from left to right. It's just gonna stay still, perfectly still, which is exactly what we love. Up next, we do have the M4, guys. I love this M4 class. So that very first class setup is probably the easiest class setup to get your first nuke or start doing nukes more consistently, especially for like a submachine gun. That's gonna be the best class setup. Then this is going to be the best class setup for long range weapons if you want to try and get a nuke with an M4, or if you're just more of an assault rifle type of player, because you know some people are really aggressive, they like submachine guns, some people do prefer assault rifles, so it really does depend on you and your play style. But these are definitely the best 2 classes to get your first nuke or start nuking on a more consistent basis, if that is something that you guys are in fact looking for. That's how good this class setup is. And the thing I love about the M4, you really don't have to worry about ammunition either. Monolithic suppressor to keep us off the radar again and to increase our damage range. We got the Corvus custom marksman barrel on there to increase damage range, bullet velocity, and give us all the recoil control that we need. If it's a really large map like Granza or Arkloft, then I will switch out the grenadier barrel sometimes, but honestly I don't like to take the penalties to like the aim down sight speed and the more sprint to fire speed penalties that does come with using a little bit bigger barrel. But honestly, they're both good. As long as you're using the Corvus or the Grenadier, you should be pretty solid. Then we got the 5MW laser to increase our hipfire accuracy, which is really important, and sprint to fire speed. We got the stippled grip date to give us more aim down sight speed and increase our sprint to fire speed to its maximum amount as well. And then of course, in respawn, we're going for a nuke. We're going for like high kills. We want to use that 60 round clip. That way we have as much ammo as possible. And the reason why I like the M4 is because it uses those NATO rounds that a lot of guns use. So pretty much you run over any gun, you're going to get some more M4 ammo. Up next, this is probably my personal favorite on the list, and I just recently changed this class up a little bit more to make it super beamy. As you guys can see, I'm ripping kids off of head glitches. It does not matter. This Ram 7 class is absolutely overpowered. I promise you, if you want to try one class attachment for attachment, it's going to be this gun right here, guys. And you can see it's got that really crispy tight hip fire as well. Super good aim down sight speed, amazing time to kill, very competitive time to kill. It's got to be one of like the top 6 or top 7 time to kills in the game, so you don't have to worry about that. And then now that I have the commando foregrip on here instead of the stock, it's just absolutely beaming. It feels like 0 recoil. As you can see, that guy's on a heady from way far away, did not matter. So first up, we got the monolithic suppressor on there, guys. This one's really important on this gun because I don't use a barrel, so it does increase that damage range and it keeps us off the radar as well. If you're okay being not suppressed, then I would put the biggest barrel on the Ram, and then you'd have like literally 0 recoil. Next up, we got the 5MW laser to give us really good hipfire accuracy, which is important because we do spray this quite a bit, and sprint to fire speed. Next up, we got the stippled grip tape for more aim down sight speed and the maximum amount of sprint to fire speed as well, which is really important, especially if you're using automatic tactical sprint, guys. Sprint to fire speed is so important. A lot of people overlook that aspect. The 50 round mags, I've tried using the 30 with sleight of hand and like other variations, but honestly the 50 round mags is 100% where it's at. Anytime you're making a Ram 7 class, I would highly recommend you to make sure you have the 50 round mags on there. And then lastly, we have the Commando foregrip, giving us that recoil stabilization and aiming stability as well, and it only takes away a little bit of movement speed. But as you guys saw, we're definitely not worried about that. This thing moves like a submachine gun and kills like an AR, so we're definitely not worried about movement speed. Up next, we have my favorite Uzi class, guys. And I know some people are gonna look at me weird, like, why do you got a GI mini reflex on there? The reason why is the Uzi has such good damage range. I'm gonna show you guys with all these long range kills that I'm getting right now, that honestly the iron sight just doesn't accentuate how far your damage range is. So in order to make use of how far your damage range is on your mini Uzi, you want to make sure you have this GI mini reflex on there, or some sort of like reflex that you might prefer, maybe the Monaco or something, because it just melts people so fast and you just want to be super accurate with the Uzi. Hopping right into the class setup, we're actually going to be using a tactical suppressor, because as long as we're using the barrel, we don't need the increased damage range that the monolithic suppressor gives us, just because it's going to take away more movement speed and more aim down sight speed than we need. Honestly, we don't need to take those minuses. The FSS Carbine Pro barrel, again, this is really important. You got to make sure you're using this barrel. It's going to increase damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. Up next, we got the 5MW laser. It's going to give us super tight hip fire, really good sprint to fire speed as well. GI mini reflex, again, to make use of how far the Uzi's damage range actually is, you want to make sure you have this reflex on there. That way you can hit those 30-40 meter shots in 3-4 bullets, and people will just be like, no way, that's a Uzi. I'm telling you, you're gonna get some good reactions. And then we got the .41 AE 32 round mags to increase damage and range. Lastly, we're going to be hopping into the most underrated, underappreciated gun in my personal opinion. We're hopping into the ISO, guys. The ISO is mad good, especially with this class setup. I got a Merc foregrip on there and a 5MW laser. You guys are gonna see, like, I hip fire people a ton of times, and it actually just works out really well. I've actually seen people do like hip fire only ISO and search and destroy. I gotta make a video like that. It's like wildly entertaining, and the hip fire spread is just so tight. It's really insane. Now, sometimes people hit me with, yeah, the ISO is good up close and it's got that nice hip fire, but it doesn't really have that range. I'm here to tell you that it actually really does have that range. It still can melt at far distances. As you saw, it's a 34 meter kill right there. I got some more long range kills coming up for you as well, just for some added proof, because I know some people are like, no, that's cap, that's cap. But again, if you can get used to these iron sights, I promise you that you're gonna unlock the ISO's like full maximum potential. I used to use a GI mini reflex on this class setup as well, but now I just forced myself to get used to the iron sights, and now I've been able to make this ISO have virtually zero recoil using these specific attachments. So up first, really important to have the FSS Nightshade barrel. It's the best barrel on the ISO. Damage range, recoil control, bullet velocity, and keeps us off the radar. Absolutely insane. Best barrel in the game in my opinion. 5MW laser to give us really good hip fire accuracy, which is important for up close engagements, and sprint to fire speed. That way, you know, we're sprinting all over the map. We don't have to worry about like our gun coming down slow or whatever. FTAC Elite ISO grip. It's going to give us aim down sight speed, and it's going to max out our sprint to fire speed. Up next, this one's up to you. Like, if you can make the 30 round mag work, then this ISO is going to be super elite. I cannot do it, guys. I get like 1 to 2 kills and then I'm out of ammo already. Yeah, and it's very unforgiving if you miss a couple shots as well. So 50 round drum is a must for me. Lastly, we got the Merc foregrip, guys. Really important. It's going to keep our recoil virtually at 0 and give us super tight hip fire accuracy. So again, if you're one of those people that wants to nuke, you want to make sure you have that MP5 class setup, like attachment for attachment that I showed you guys earlier. And then this is what the rest of the class would look like for me personally. I find this to be the easiest way for me to nuke. So you want to use the M19 pistol. Specifically, you need to make sure you have on the 32 round mag and fully loaded. The other attachments really don't matter too much. It's up to you. I barely use my pistol. If I have a fully loaded MP5 with sleight of hand, I'm only using my fully loaded MP5 with sleight of hand. I do not need to switch to a pistol. I'll reload and slay the person out as quickly as possible. And then for the perks, I do like to use Quick Fix, Ghost, Tune Up, and then Shrapnel, Restock, and EOD in that order. Now, if I'm getting fragged out, that I will switch Quick Fix to EOD, so it really does depend on your enemy at that point. But I always make sure I have on Ghost and Tune Up. That way, I'm off the radar at all times, and I'm recharging my dead silence either for a push or for a flank, or I'm recharging my ammo box to get ammo back as quickly as possible. And I do recommend using bouncing Bettys. Not necessarily that it's going to get a ton of kills, but it will give you a warning as to when people are coming through. And if they're always blowing up one single Betty, what you can do is you can double down on Bettys. So that's why you have shrapnel and restock right away, so you get your Bettys back instantly. I hope you guys enjoyed everything today. If you did, do make sure you guys subscribe for more content. I love you guys. GG's. Devour out.
Closet for your wife, that hookah for your wife. I'm slaughter gang pussy, you know I brought my knife. You was talking gangster, we caught him at a light. I let my